this night. Let your spirit rise and fight your battle this night. Emeseketolia, Makurua Banande Yede, Ejene Behesha, Elimbroma Jene Behesha, Erusamolia Broma Samo Bradonia, Embrezede Miliairobo Sananda, Ezembrekete Milikairo Bakura Pankatabaya. Makashalia, Embroja Kwapalia, Ambregedolia, Erusamodo Badundayana, Ezimo Bramahasa Mondo Badundayana, Embresedo, La Broma Hasaido, Erebo Kasiakara Bokasa Kurabakanta Bayada, Majamalia, Merebo Jamalia, Eruasando, Azondo Brasando, Merebo Bodenia, Dozanua Karabaka Palatia, Merebo Kasaida, Ezembrekete Belika Ropa Kwapaka Palatia, La Broma Jamalia. Embrosa barundayada, Zemon Broselia, Bromaso Mando, Bremoso Membrodolia, Morabade Bodea, Eruoka Palia, Bromaka Zakurabo Kazamaka Palia, Ambroka Zaka Palatiana, Embrosondo Bredonia, Morabade Mozemon Brohese Bredonia, Moramba Sharapalia, Embroka Shakwapalia, Lebrogedomile Caro Paquanta Bayana, Ambrogede Malikaro Bakaza Mambrogede, Zemon Brogede, Morabade Mozemon Brogede, Ericania Kura Polotolia. Lift up your head so ye can be lifted up, ye everlasting doors, that the King of Glory may come in, that the King of Glory may reign in our lives tonight. Esimbro Somalia, Morapadona, reign in our lives in a special way tonight. Reign, oh, reign, exalted King of Glory, exalted King of Kings over our lives, in our lives, in the name of Jesus Christ. Makua Palade, Embroso Bodea, Erusamalia Brosa Madiana, Embroka Pashaka Pali, Embroka Shakwapa Kapalataya, Abramaide, Ozemo Bromahaida Nwando Yede, Ezina Kaita Balia, Ambroka Zakiabo Kazakurabo Kanta Bayada, Mashamalie, Embroso Sondo Yede, Ezembroma Kazuka Prokazi Akura Polotonia, Erosa Mato Pradonia. Look, this battle is two-way. There is one that you will fight for yourself, there is one that the anointing will fight for you. So the one you should fight is the one you are doing now. If you don't do it well, when the anointing comes, it may miss you. You may not also be able to receive. So let your spirit rise and fight now. Makasakalia, Embrezegedolia, Ambrosa Diana, Ezemo Bredolia, Murabo Matundayada, Ezembredeli, Murabade Obradene, Kezeke Topekurapolia, Murabadeana, O Shamalia, Embrose Sendoyede, Ezende Brekete Milikarapalia, Ambrosa Kwapa Nundeyede, Azunta Bayana, Embrosamalia, Murabo Batundayana, Ezende Bredeke Repoke Rapo Kapalia, Murabamadea, Embresenia, Murabamadea Mosemon Brosonia, Maruado Nendeyede, Ezende Brokeje Kurapo Kanta Bayada, Marusa Palia.
Jesus' precious name we pray. All right, open your Bibles to Psalm 24. All right. The earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. And so I need you to come along, listening as I read. I'm reading through 3 Psalms. Okay? And as I'm reading through them, the reason I'm reading through them is not because I'm looking for miracle to do. Okay? It's not because I'm looking for miracle to do. It's not because I'm looking for religious practice to carry out. The reason I am reading these passages and I'm reading through them and I'm speaking with you through them, assuming, so there are basic assumptions. Okay? That's making me do this. But we are here at this prayer meeting. Is that right? There are basic assumptions that are supposed to be foregone conclusions. Number one assumption is that you are serious-minded enough, sound-minded enough, reasonable enough, sensible enough to know that you don't come to an environment like this for nothing. Is that right? Okay. Number two is that you borrowing, you're someone that can borrow from part of what we were talking about in the morning. Is that right? And that is that you want to learn, you want to understand. Okay? And be an effective person. You want to understand and be an effective, responsible, reasonable, and effective person. Is that right? So you want to be functional, acceptably functional in this environment. Responsibly functional. So you want to be a person of good understanding. Is that right? So you therefore want to reason right. You know, in spiritual environment, for instance, we're going to be praying against some issues along the line that I need you to understand very well what you are doing. A kingdom business is an extremely serious business that requires deep understanding and requires critical training, requires serious functionality. You know, something in the present war that they are carrying out, something happened, and I think a lot of other things like that. The supreme head of Iran it was in a session, was in a strategic, they call it strategy meeting. And that made sense to me, okay? With his commanders, that is the people under him, manning the different, and Iran is a very big, in fact, it's the largest country, or as a country on earth. Okay, very big, not in population, but in size, very big. In terms of military hardware development, and Iran will come out, will be one of the first 10. Before you count, in fact, before you count the first 5, you are likely to mention Iran. Okay, military strength, because they spend a lot on military issues. Okay, So, but they are not allowed to have some particular weapons. But that's the reason that's one of the major reasons for the war. There is a particular weapon they don't want them to have. If Iran has nuclear weapons, it will automatically become the strongest military on earth. That's the truth. Okay, America will be afraid of them. That's the truth. So that's why they can't afford to allow them to have it, because they are also terrible in terms of ideology. So anyway, so you can imagine the kind of people. Ayatollah is a very powerful person, very, very powerful person worldwide. He has got a worldwide network, very wealthy and very powerful, militarily and everything, politically and religiously. So, he had on every one of his all of his commanders are very powerful people. Each of them is a powerful person. Every one of them commands military force, strong, powerful military forces. In charge of missiles and things like that. Every one of them in different places. They are scattered. That's why it is difficult to fight them, because they are scattered all over. They are divided all over the place. Okay, that vast. That's Iraq Iran is an extension of former Babylon. Hope you know. Okay, yeah. Iraq, Iran, both of them are under the former Babylonian Empire. Pasture, they say you are the prince of Pasture. Now okay. So it's that whole environment. So they have been warriors for long. Okay, you understand that? Okay, Nebuchadnezzar was a king of Babylon. Hope you understand that. They have been warriors for long, very powerful for thousands of years. They have been into military things. That's why they are very powerful militarily. Okay, their soldiers are very strong and ideologically very committed. And it's difficult to fight them, ordinarily speaking. Only a nation like America and Cuba, because of their own help and development of God and things like that with Israel, can actually succeed at doing what the kind of thing they're doing to them. Okay, yeah. But you see, it's difficult. It's not going to be easy to just run them over like that. Now, so what take me to this is this. He had over 40, maybe like 50, 60 of his commanders, all of them powerful people, meeting with him in the same place at the time they struck and killed almost all of them. Now that's, militarily speaking, that's unreasonable. Okay? Ordinarily speaking. But they are not foolish people. They are warriors. Okay? The reason they could take that risk was because they trusted a whole lot in the shields that they had around them, the anti-missiles that they are supposed to have around Ayatollah's house alone. You understand that? That no bomb should be able to penetrate. No bomb should be able to come near. No aircraft can fly over. They will bring it down. And things like that. Very powerful. So it's supposed to be one of the most secured places upon the earth. Supposed to be one of the most secure places upon the earth. So that's why they could take that risk. Number one. Number two, because they were not expecting the strikes, the war to start that early. They still wanted to come and strategize. They were still hoping, that's why you don't take chances with the devil. Okay? They were still hoping that maybe, and then if airstrikes will start, normally they don't do airstrikes during the day. You understand? Because it will be easy to see the planes. Okay, the planes are usually flying in that. That's a jet to throw planes that will throw bombs. Usually prefer to move in the night naturally, so that they are not easily detected. Ordinary eye will see them now, so without even the radar. So they were not expected to do that. So they were meeting during the day, one. They were meeting in the very secure location, two. But then their meeting was a very strategic meeting. They were the meeting as a meeting of the closest persons. Are we hearing this? Okay, and I'm trying to do some things that I believe is supposed to be helpful for us here. I help some of us to have good understanding and reasoning of things, because we're moving beyond where we are. We're not staying there to function forever. Okay. Now, so when you're preparing for war or important matters in life, you don't surround yourself. You're preparing for very important matters. You don't surround yourself with fools. One, you don't surround yourself with uneducated people, untrained people. You get the point that if you've got something serious to do, you surround your team must be a team of professionals Dependable people, reliable people, focused people. Is that all right? Okay? Because that's what is expected. Okay? What's expected, for instance, each of those generals, each of the 40 of them that died, and many of them are still alive. And so that's why they are still bombing. That's why Iraq is still fighting. Iran is still fighting after killing almost all their generals. Okay, because they have got multi layers of trainings, trainings of high professionals, highly dependable people. And that's part of the problem with church. Okay, the body of Christ is very weak when it comes to things like that. We don't have that kind of strong structure because we don't develop it. We just gather people around, serious people who don't know their reference. There are people there are some of these people that were virtually born into this training. They started training them when they were like 6, 7 years old. Training them in loyalty, training them in dependence, training them in disciplines, training them in reliability. That's why they can run the kind of military that they are running. Highly dependable, highly reliable, highly faithful. Hope you understand that. Highly professionalized people. And they got them in hundreds. Okay, they wiped out all of that. It's as if nothing, they wiped out all their leadership. It's as if nothing was lost. Ayatollah himself left. Over 40, you can imagine over 40 military leaders, the highest ranking military leaders were removed. The next people in, the next people in line who are on ground, they knew what to do. The country is still under strong control. Their military force is still under serious, strong control. But they are still assaulting. They are destroying things. They still attacked Israel. They attacked Israel yesterday. They attacked Israel again today. Killed 9 people yesterday. Killed 12 people today. They are still fighting, attacking installations, throwing, terrible bombs. The guys who are supposed to be in charge are the ones who are supposed to have been dead. No, because they have got generational, layers of highly responsible, highly faithful, highly trained, highly dependable people. Very important. And that's where church should be. That's where church should be. When you fail to attend to the business of training as you should, you are frustrating the prosperity and functionality and strength of church. Because investment in you is a waste of time. Church is as strong as its personnel are trained and as weak as its personnel are indisciplined and untrained. It's a woe to the city when your king is a baby. When your leaders are children. When those who are supposed to lead you are people who ask for bread in the morning. Say, woe to that land. That land can be strong. Is somebody listening to that? And that's very important. So your exposure on a platform like this, you should be here, number one, because you want to learn. You don't assume that you are taught. You assume, you get the point. Your leaders, is looking for a dependable ally. You get somebody he can trust. How well can I trust you? I'm not going to trust you because I'm looking at your face. What am I to trust in you? If I'm to trust a person, what am I to trust in you? Number one, the first thing I'm going to trust in you is the level of understanding you have. How well do you understand what is happening? How much information do you have? How much knowledge do you have? You get the point here? How much wisdom have you acquired? Yes, how deep are you in knowledge, in understanding of spiritual things? If I want to trust you, that's what I'm to trust you. I'm not looking at it. It's not your trust. It's not your face I'm to trust. How well do you know? How much of the scriptures do you know? How much of the wisdom of the scriptures do you know? How much of the message or the scriptures do you know? How much of what God is doing according to the scriptures have you come to terms with? That's the first thing to trust. Right? You don't trust ignorance. Because you're working in the bank, you've been there, you came into the bank as a messenger or as a gate man, and then you have remained there. You didn't go to school, you didn't do anything. The only thing you know is how to sit at the gate or how to carry buckets and clean the floor. That's what you have been doing for the past 15 years, 20 years. No school, no education, no development, no professionalism. You do not know anything about accounting, you don't know anything about banking, you don't know anything about administration. And they say, I've been here for the past 50 years. And by now, they should be thinking of making a manager. That's the way many people behave in church. Because you have been attending church. You understand that? You have just been coming, they are talking, you are not listening. They are teaching, you are not listening. You are not learning. They are training, you are not responding. They are giving direction, you are misbehaving. And then you are saying, after some time, because people are coming, okay, so me too, I should have, by now, I've had people say that, stupidly say that, by now, I'm not supposed to be a minister in that church. By now, on what grounds? On the ground that you're bringing your egghead, empty egghead, every day, to disturb church. By now, they should have been an assistant minister. What? How? On what grounds? What knowledge have you manifested? What discipline are you manifesting? What training are you manifesting? What productivity are you bringing? What is to be trusted in you? Are you hearing that? Leadership is a function of trust. What is to be trusted in you to give you a post like that? That's why I was saying to some people yesterday, don't bring eyes to church for nothing. Bringing your eyes are not seeing, bringing your ears are not hearing, makes a fool of you. If you bring your eyes, you should study with your eyes. If you bring your ears, you listen attentively with them. And then bring your mind to think deep and think so that you can understand. It takes meditation to understand what's happening. And so the more you see and you understand what you are seeing, the more you hear, you understand what you are hearing, and the more you meditate, and then you are able to apply things effectively, the more something valuable is coming out of you. You know how to behave. You know how not to behave. You know how to conduct yourself. You know how not to conduct yourself. And that's what determines your relevance in the presence of God. If you come to church, if you are in church and you can't, you see, your relevance in church is a function of how well you can get God to act. How well. You have been here for 15 years, learning. So how much of God can you bring to the scene now? How well have you learned how to behave in God's presence? How well have you been able to offer the right things before God? How much of how do I put it now? God's respect do you command? In other words, how much does God respect you? You want me to respect you because it is man that you say, how well have you presented yourself in such a way that God can look at you and honor you? And say, this is a reliable daughter of mine. If church cannot, are you hearing that? If church cannot make God act, church has lost. That's what it means that church has lost. The salt has lost its saltiness. How much of God can be seen in us? How much of God can we bring to the table? How much of God's will, God's presence, God's power, God's program, God's pleasure? Are you getting the point there? How much of it can you, by virtue of training and discipline, how much of God are you able to bring? How well can you bring God down? How well can God act on your behalf? That's what you came here to be trained about. That's the training you came here for. To know God, to love God, to serve God, and to produce results in life by God. How much of that? The more you can do that, the more trustworthy you are. You can be. Because then there is something to be trusted in. Only Shele. By virtue of what he has come to know. But you are the one that you are one church. Year 1, year 2, year 10, year 15. Watch him. They are still rebuking you as if you are a baby that just came yesterday. You still don't know. You can't see well. You don't understand how to behave. You don't understand. There is nothing about you that is reflecting An understanding of how things should happen in God's presence. Make some sense? Huh? You came to learn. The earlier you sit down to learn, the faster you rise to the place that God anticipates of you. Do the business of learning. Do the business of responsibility. Christianity is not about noise. You get the point here? You know, I was in my mind. One of these things that led to all of this is in my mind I was asking myself, why would that man play that kind of? Why would he do that? Take that kind of crazy risk? Why would he bring all of his major force, critical people? Now it's the war strategy. I mean, that's anybody who knows Donald Trump. That's his strategy. Donald Trump's strategy is cut the head of the snake. Finish, go and rest. That's his strategy. So he doesn't fight wars, he just looks for the leader. Once he picks the president or he picks the head, he will go and rest. He knows that every other thing you are doing, you are only making noise. You are just trying to say you are there, but you are gone. That's his strategy. And anybody that's going to war with him should know that. So and I said to myself, why would Ayatollah make that kind of mistake? You are preparing for war against Donald Trump. You carried all your leaders. Don't you know that he's looking for you? That's what he will do now. He will come and the only reason why Iran is still there is because Iran has a strategy of multi-layer development. If not, Iran would have been gone now. And there would have been no war. Just went there and took them all out. 40 commanders at once. How many countries have that? Why would he do that? And that's crazy. Donald Trump, he doesn't like wasting bomb. You know, he's a businessman and he's counting money. Every bomb they count, every bomb they throw, he counts the money. He tells them that's $80,000. So he's measuring. Other countries, other people don't do that, but he's measuring. Ijebu man, he's an Ijebu American. He's an Ijebu American. Calculating to the last kobo. That's where he is. You know, they had what they call iron dome, dome shield, and then so that dome shield makes them to throw missiles to block missiles to destroy missiles, and so they just came up with one technology that they didn't know before. It was secretly done between him and the Israelis. So they have this one that is laser, so they don't use missiles anymore. They just use rays, okay? The first powerful ray that is running. When they pick everything, they just go like that. It just destroys it. It just goes into the sky. It just destroys the thing. So they tried this sometime last year in a very small war. That man is a crazy fellow. They tried in a small war, but now in this major war, this is the first time they are using it on a major scale. And so yesterday, you know, Iran is crazy. When Iran wants to throw bomb, they can throw missiles. They can throw 500 missiles at the same time, so that they will beat your shield. Build your shield at a time. And so when they develop this one. So this one, when it's going, it just went like that. As it's going like that, everything you throw, everything. So all the missiles that they threw yesterday, that they call it beam shield. They can't see it; it's not visible. So everything they threw, it blocked everything, including the aircraft. It's shield, it's all the laser thing. So whatever it is, it cuts it. It will cut the thing, it will destroy it. So everything that was there, they was shit. And Donald Trump today was rejoicing. Hey, we succeeded. He said, because when we were using dome shield, every missile with you was $80,000, $100,000 each. Well, this one is the amount you spend for electricity in your house is what you spend to do that one. It's very cheap. That's why he loves that one. That's why he loves that. He said, I love this. I love it. Very efficient, very costly. I'm a very cost efficient. It doesn't cost any money. It doesn't cost more than what you used to pay for electricity bill in your house. I said, this man, I want to but that's intelligence. Wisdom is profitable in every matter. He wants to run a very cheap war and win. And he's achieving it small. Yeah. So I was blaming, and I'm thinking the lesson this evening. I was blaming Ayatollah in my mind. So Ayatollah is a crazy man. Why would he do that? Why would you gather all of you? Donald. You see, anybody Donald Trump wants to kill is watching him 24/7. He's a terrible monitoring spirit. A very terrible monitoring spirit. He's watching every move, every step you take, every move. That's the strategy. Because he doesn't, if the strategy is cut the head of the snake. So you don't need to waste too much money fighting for too long. The strategy is like that. Remove the leader, destroy the weapons. He will go back home. So he hardly moves ground troops into war. He uses aerial warfare. Powerful. It's Christian wisdom. Hope you understand. That's the reason for prayer. Yeah. Intercession is Air Force. Destroy the enemy from a distance. Dismantle his structures. Take whatever you want to take from his kingdom. Go back to your place and do your thing there. Anyway, so I was blaming that man. But then an understanding came to me and said, no, you don't blame him. No leader surrounds himself with fools. If you want to have strategic meeting, okay, you want to have a meeting of strategy, you're good. It's your best hands that you'll bring. They are the ones who can understand you. The people who have listened to you thoroughly, the people who have heard you well, who have understood what you are saying, understood how you reason, they are your best. That's your best asset. That's what most churches don't have. Because we don't see God's business as serious business. We think it's just a matter of gathering people together. No CEO of a company wants to have a strategy meeting of how to advance the company, and he goes to call the gate man. He goes to call the messengers. Who do you call? The people that are professionals. Those who are well grounded and who have good understanding of what you are doing and what you want to do. Leaders in church should not be surrounded by fools. Should not be surrounded by the ignorant. You get the point here? All right? Church leaders should be surrounded by powerful, functional, fruitful people. Responsible, disciplined people. Those are the people that should be those are the people that should form your intimate, you get the point, your circle of intimacy. People who can see in the spirit, who can hear in the spirit, who can understand the God you want to serve. A man who don't know the God you want to serve can't serve that God along with you. It is the people that it is the people that do know, those who know God. You understand that? They are the ones who will be strong, and they are the ones who can do exploits. Strong. People who know what they are doing. Don't pick you find the unfaithful, the unserious, the impure, the indisciplined, the untrained. He wants to be the one to lead prayers. He wants to be the one to lead worship. He wants to be the one to stand in front of people to talk. It's a challenge onto responsibility. Does that make some sense? Huh? Challenge onto dutifulness. You came to your primary reason for being here is not to you are not here because that's a deception That's a lie that the devil has given the world. You are not in church because you are looking for survival. No. That's stupidity of the highest order. You want to remain corrupt, immoral, ignorant, unreasonable, unreliable, and then you're looking for survival. You want to make money. You want to live big. Yet you are foolish spiritually, ignorant spiritually, untrained, unreliable. Heaven can't trust you for anything. But you want to say you're okay and owó tó ní. Huh? We are wealthy, you are powerful. Satan is sitting upon you, defecating on your head. You have money. And so what? You know what I say? You must speak that. Wake up to that wisdom. What's the benefit? You want it, you have that, but yet you are subject to the devil, messes you up anyhow. And the truth of the matter is that it will not even work. Because your access to material victory as a Christian is power. So you understand? You continue to struggle financially, struggle materially, struggle in life. Why? Because it is productivity according to power. Okay? Yeah. That positions you for prosperity and good success. So you still amount to nothing. With all of your games, all of your manipulations, you will still amount to nothing. So, I just get the point there. But on what church alone, you understand? That's the truth. God, he doesn't know. The ways of God, he does not know. God, the power of God, he doesn't have. In the name of, he wants to struggle to make money. Money, he doesn't have. Continue that way, the devil will just summarily remove you one day. Just kill you. Because you are so cheap, so powerless, and so useless. But the practical truth is that there is no way. The Bible says, 2 Peter 1. Okay, I'm not reading that for now. Verse 3. He said, according to his eternal power. Abi? Huh? Eternal power has done what? Has given us all that pertains to life and godliness. But how does power come? Huh? Yeah, through presence. Acts 1:8, Ephesians 1:19. You should understand those. You must understand the strategy. The power of God is towards those who believe, those who hear the word, understand the word, live by the word, operate by the word. Those who believe, the power of God is targeted. They say, these signs shall follow them that believe. You will receive power only after that the Holy Spirit has come. You understand that? So the power that makes you to have all, power that will make you to have everything that pertains to life and God. You see, you must understand that your strongest asset as a human being, as a believer, your greatest asset is the training you have that makes you to access God's presence effectively and connect to power. You have the wisdom. You have the wisdom. We're going to look at that in Psalm 24 now. And you have the wisdom of purity. You have the wisdom of soundness of mind. You have the wisdom of right conduct. You know how to behave yourself. If you don't know how to behave yourself, God won't show up in your life. The Christian's power is that he has been well. What makes you a powerful Christian is that you have been well taught and trained. And so you know how to conduct yourself. You know how to behave before God. You know the things that God, you know what God tolerates, you know what God doesn't tolerate. You know how things are in God's prayer, and you are able to. We're talking about meekness and gentleness in the morning. That's it. You can be shown this is the way to behave here, and then you are able to behave exactly like that. You saw that with Esther. That's it. That was what the Ethiopian eunuch was teaching Esther for 18 months. That's what the other what they call them, virgins. They were showing up before the king. They don't know how to appear. They don't know how to behave. So before they even come near the door, the king has said he doesn't want to see her. Before she spends 1 minute in the king's presence, the king is already asking, who brought this idiot here? Who brought this? Talo, when they were throw this one. That's the point. That was the reality. But to the last detail of the king's attitude, the eunuch was able to teach Esther. If he lifts up his head like this, you stop. If he brings his head down, you come. She was taught everything. How to look, how not to look. Yeah. How to behave, how not to behave. She was prepared for the king. And that's what you are here, okay? Every believer is an Esther under a eunuch, being prepared for the king. Every Christian. That's what Ephesians chapter 4 is all about. That he gave some to be teachers, to be apostles, to be prophets, so that they can perfect the saints. They can help the saints to understand how life in the kingdom is. They can teach the saints how to live. You get the point, to secure the presence of God. Because if you secure God's presence, you secure God's power. That's what you came to learn. It's not you are not in church because of the things you want to acquire in the world. You are in church because you want to be configured for the Lord. How many of you got that? How many of you got that? Did you get that? I'm sure you understood that. Huh? So you are in church to look for how do I do? What do I do? How do I carry myself? That's what you are learning. That's what your pastor is supposed to represent to you. My job is to train you. You understand that? To be able to show up before God and not foul. That's first John 1 to 3. What does it? Okay, that what I have seen, what I have learned, what I've understood, what I've handled is what I am communicating to you, so that you will be able to successfully live with me. And if you are able to, if you succeed, if I approve of you, God will approve of you. That's the meaning of 1 John 1 to 3. So that you may have fellowship with me. If I am all right with you, then you will find out. If I am all right with you, then God will be all right with you. You will be safely brought into a relationship with God. That's the meaning of discipleship. You see people misbehaving on that and they are claiming access to God. It's stupidity on the eyes of that. You are using foolish pride to claim access to God, but where is the result? Do you know what has come out of that your life that shows that God is there? One by one by one. Okay, now we are not arguing with you. You know God. Bring something from that God. Let us see. Stupid deception. They will teach. They teach, you don't hear. They lead, you don't follow. They counsel, you don't yield. They instruct, you don't learn. You are coming back. You have a revelation. You have a dream. What am I going to do with that? What am I giving for revelation? To me, what am I going to do with that? You're just looking, it's manipulation. You're looking for cheap instrument to use to bamboozle. No, it is the fruitfulness of your life in righteousness and true holiness. The productivity of your life according to righteousness and true holiness. That's the potential. Your potency is what I would trust. Ọgbọ́n tó ń jáde nínú ẹ̀ torí pé o ti bọ́ lọ́rùn rìn. Onda. You can't be walking with God and not have the attitude and attributes of God manifested in you, rubbed off on you. This makes some sense? I do not know how many of you I'm able to help tonight with what I'm sharing with you. Okay, I'm hoping I'm able to help you come up, help, talk to yourself. So you see, it is time for me to face the business of learning what I should learn. You are in this place as unto coming into a mold so that you can be shaped for God's presence. You secure his presence before you have access to his power, his purpose. Okay? And then you can prosper with him and by him. That's your asset. God cannot honor you and men dishonor you. It's not possible. God cannot, you get the point that God cannot appoint you and men disappoint you. It's not possible. When God has chosen you and is working in you, working with you, working through you, men will be forced to acknowledge you. Human beings can despise you. I have been despised in the past. Okay? Human beings can despise you, but if your training has not failed, if your access to God has not failed, if what you should learn, okay, in relationship with God has not failed, not every one of them will come back. Things happen on that I can't. There are things I can't even say. There are testimonies if I give it to look weird. Okay, but I'm not somebody who gives my concern is I'm not here to bamboozle you with. My concern is how to help you know God the way I want to know him. I'm knowing him, I want to know him. So we are knowing him together. That's what forms a team. Okay? So you have a relationship with somebody who knows what he is doing. I came into this place this afternoon, this evening. No, I just felt it's prayer time, so I'm coming to start from prayers myself. Okay, so I decided to come early. Okay, and the first question that was on in my mind: who is going to lead the worship? I mean, who will be the person leading prayer? Will it be somebody who knows what he is doing? Will it be somebody who just making noise? When I came in, I was impressed by the presence. What the atmosphere was all right. People were wondering, and a lot of people were not serious, but he knew what he was doing. And the atmosphere was all right. The spiritual atmosphere was all right. Okay? The people were not all right. Not everybody. Most of the people were not all right. They were just wandering around. They don't stroll what church. They don't share. Okay, well, people don't know what they're doing. And I'm just looking and say, you see, that's how people get wasted. But I was glad him doing what he was doing. In fact, if not that, it's the norm and all that he saw me coming up, you get one and then you have to excuse. I would have allowed him to lead on, to continue to lead. I would have until I stopped him. Because the atmosphere was all right. I was enjoying the spirit. But you see, it's not cheap. A man that will operate at that level is not cheap. It's a product of labor of the heart. The presence of God is not for fools. It's not for the ignorant. It's not for the unreliable. It's not for the indisciplined. It's not for the foolish. It's not for the stupid. God's presence is the most expensive place. It is one thing that I bring his presence to you, and then you enjoy the anointing. It's another thing that you know how to come into it. There are two different things. So yes, yeah. Don't bring that kind of thing to me anymore like that. Okay? Go and handle it. Do you understand this? You came to learn how to gain God. Are you listening to me? Came to learn how to what? If you are too, that's why if once your spirit is too high to be helped, you can't be productive in grace. Stupidity, in church. Stupidity. Stupidity. Your greatest fear should be who you were before you came to church. Who you by nature, and to just by nature. You see, if they sum up all the problems of your life to 100, okay? Who you were, and to just koto de odolong, and to just inu iwa, ninu ise, ninu ironu, it takes almost 90%. You get that corrected, you'll be shocked at the change that will start taking place in your life. The last thing most people want to do is to deal with themselves. That's why they don't have access. The more you change, the more you come, the more you access. The more you can't change. You understand that? You see, your creation is what determines your distance. Right? Your closeness to God is a function of how you have been changed. How well have you been transformed into His image? You get the point? How much of His image is becoming observable in you? That's what determines your closeness to God. Your access to God is a function of your creation. Yeah. Romans chapter 12 verse 1 and 2. Ephesians chapter 2 verse 10. You understand that? Ephesians 2:10. Colossians chapter 3 verse 10. Those are passages that helps you to understand what I'm saying. Ephesians 4:16. Ephesians 4:24. Created in righteousness and true holiness. 2 Corinthians 3:18. Those are passages that should help you understand this matter. All of those passages I'm mentioning, all of them are talking about you changing. Romans chapter 8, verse 29 and 30. You changing and being conformed. The more you gain the image of Christ, the distance between you and God is removed. The more you gain the image of Christ, the distance between you and God is removed. And the more the distance is removed, and you get the point, the more you access, the more His presence. The more His presence, the more His power at work in you. The more His program revealed to you, His plans revealed to you, His wisdom of His ways made known to you. The more His nature takes over in you, the more His counsel reigns in you, the more you are a representation of His authority. That's the strategy of Christianity. Change. John 1:12 is the rule of the game. You changing, not the devil killing, not the devil dying, not your enemies dying. Not the devil dying, not your enemies dying. You changing. Your own transformation is the rule of the game. As you are changed, you rise. And you leave behind situations, circumstances, companies that were wrong in your life. The New Testament is a provision for your translation. Does that make sense? Ephesians 1, Ephesians 3, Colossians 1, Colossians 2. It's God's strategy for your translation from the kingdom of darkness, where you were and things were harassing you, to the kingdom of His dear Son, where you are seated with Him in heavenly places, far above. That's the strategy. The company you keep is what determines your sanity and sanctity. And that's what determines your functionality and productivity. You go to Washington Church here. You came to learn what will make you rise. All right? What will make you live where you are, live the things you do, live the way you do them, live the people you do them with. That's the essence of church. That's why you are here. The more you are listening and you are reasoning, you are understanding, you are living a particular way of thinking. You are living from a particular realm of operation. You are living particular companies, physical and spiritual. You are moving away from particular companies. You are moving away from particular attitudes, mannerisms, tendencies. You are rising into another realm. That's your salvation. Your rising is your salvation. That's why it says, arise, shine. Because light, what's light? Understanding. Yeah. Knowledge has come. Understanding has come. So rise up. Get out of where you are. Arise so that you can shine. Arise, shine. Okay? your light is come so that the glory, the doings of God, the functionalities of God, where you were before, it was the doings of Satan and his agents. Now, the doings of God is risen upon you. God is one who is becoming. Yes, because it is God that you are interacting with, it is God you are dealing with. It's God that you are. The wisdom of God is what you are exposing yourself to. Okay? That's why we want to read now. We are reading not from the devil, we are reading from the wisdom of the Ancient of Days. So that's what makes you rise. You step out of corruption, immorality, impropriety. Oh my word. I'm tired of seeing people behaving the same way they have always been. It's a shame, it's a loss. At times I got so fed up. People are giving importance. Can I just be excused from all of this corruption? And this person did this to me, and this to me. Oh God. I'm tired of those things. I want to hear somebody who said, thank you. This message happened yesterday. This is the dealings I have. This is what happened to me. This is what I got overnight. This is what God is saying to me now. This is the step God is asking me to take. And I want to borrow. I want somebody who is bringing me a report of what is happening in the spirit. You understand that? What God is saying from above. Not report of stupidity of things, of dreams of men or not. What do you say? You understand that? So I want somebody that God has started talking to you about the work going on here. So he's talking to you concerning you, not concerning another person. Concerning you. What's your business? God told me about this person. What has God told you about you? The dirtiness of your conduct and your being. You don't know the wahala you have because of the corruption of your spirit. You are now clean. Stupid spirituality. Amounts of mere food manipulation, witchcraft, no matter. Have you dealt with yourself? Are you dealing with yourself? I don't understand why people have problems with that. Like tell somebody to do something, go and do something, or give somebody an assignment, or take him to a process. I say, okay, but just like God's power wasn't around for it. His blessing has been around as if she's not around for too long. But God's power has been around. And so you see, the people started asking, even he himself asked me, people are asking, Daddy, what people are asking, but someone come around and say, they can't show you money. Monitoring spirit. Monitor lizard. What's your problem? Somebody didn't come to church. Mm-hmm. As long as pastor is not worried, feel so if you're rolling. Is pastor asking for that person from you? So what's your headache? Ofofo is my hobby. Now I'm going to share with you. Or is my headache. You can't be like that and grow in the spirit. It's possible. The devil is too busy with you. Yeah. Your attention on matters that does not concern you. The Bible calls it busybody. In other men's affairs. Busybody in other men's affairs. Go and look for it. If you Google it, you will see it in your Bible. I mean, if you do search engine, you will see it. Busybody in other men's affairs. That headache that took really like it won't allow you to grow spiritually. And number two is that you become a very, very good weapon in the hands of the devil. The devil will like you when you're like that. When you cannot take your eyes away from other people's matters, you cannot but get involved in other people's. The devil will like you so much. Yeah, because you'll be his agent, CIA agent, CID. Abi? You want to grow in grace? Huh? Face truth. You want to grow in grace? Do what? Face truth. You want to be useful in God? Grow in grace. Are you listening to me? Church is about God raising powerful weapons. Those weapons are human beings. Say, you are my battle axis. It's about God raising powerful people. You understand that? And it does not raise powerful people as a group. It raises powerful people individually. Then you cannot have a group of them, but it raises each person. Okay? It trains each person personally. It gives you the attention, it gives you the focus personally, and grooms you into the weapon he wants you to be for his glory. So you must supply the right attention, you must supply the right commitment, you must supply the right devotion, you must supply the right followership. There must be no hypocrisy. There must be no, you get the point there? There must be no lifting up your eyes onto vanity. Just like he said. There must be no, you must escape all that. Face the business that brought you. They're going to and produce you in knowledge, in wisdom, in understanding, in counsel. In discipline. You understand that, man? Through discipline. Thorough chastisement. Let him produce it out of you. That weapon he's looking for. Make sense? All right. So, we're going to read through 3 passages. And then we'll have some prayer points. Is that right? I'm reading those passages expecting interaction between us. Okay? These things that I'm saying to you, they are supposed to be weapons by which you begin to become whom God wants me to produce of you. So that we can have fellowship. Okay, then as fellowship, well, as fellowship together, we can then have fellowship with the Father and the Son as a people. Okay? And as a people in fellowship with God, with the Father and the Son, as a people in fellowship with the Father and the Son, we can function for him on earth. Make sense? And then, by his help, bear fruit according to his intentions. Make some sense? Drop it on the floor. Are you understanding this? Rise on your feet. Psalm 24. So are you ready to go? You want to come on this journey? Are you sure? And it's not going to be a wasted effort. Huh? Hearing will bring you along. Huh? Hearing and understanding will bring you along. Hearing and understanding will raise you high. One very strong, and let me add this to what I've said so far. One very powerful operation in the church is the wisdom of imitation. One very powerful operation in church is what? Is the wisdom of imitation. Okay? Papa wrote a book sometime long time ago. I don't know if that book is still in calculation. That imitation is not limitation. When you learn from another, you are not being limited. Learning doesn't limit you. People think that learning from another, no, that's the devil. Learning doesn't limit you. Learning expands you. Learning makes you broader. Learning frees you. Learning makes you grow. Learning makes you rise. Okay? Learning makes you wise. Learning broadens your scope. Are you hearing that? Very strong lesson. When we are through, by God's grace, we got some assignments to do that we're still doing we're starting from today. This is March now. We are supposed to have started Pauline epistles. Today is nodding his head. Where are you? Have you finished Luke? Is he lacking? You are started. Just that you are still in chapter 5. Okay. Now, let's see how people are. We see that's the way to be wise. If you are not busy with instructions given to you in church, you are not busy with your destiny in God. So what are you busy with? If you are not, and I said that again, I can say that 1 million times, 1 billion times. If you are not busy with the instructions given to you in church, you are not busy with your destiny in God. You are busy with the destiny that the devil is managing. That thing that is keeping you from obeying the instruction in church is keeping you from the life God has for you. You can believe it, you can ignore it. It doesn't change anything as far as where God is going is and what God is doing. You understand? That's the practical truth. You're not busy. If you are too busy to pray, you are busier than God intended. Somebody that is not supposed to manage you is employing you. You are too busy to study the word. You are too busy to hear the word. You are too busy to attend church. You are busier than God intended. The devil is the owner of that other business. Yeah. You may not like what I'm saying. You may be wiser than what I'm saying. Don't prove to me from your stupid thinking and reasoning. Show me the fruit of the way you are following that contradicts the wisdom I've given you. Don't come to me with foolish arguments. Show me the result. The result. Show me the proof, the fruit of your life. You are unfaithful with church attendance, unfaithful with studying the scriptures, unfaithful with following instructions. Okay? And show me how your life is manifesting godliness. Give me the proof. Give me the proof. Once you can show it to me physically, I will keep quiet. With your business, my business, I needed to go to school, I'm not arguing with anything you want to do. Whatever excuses you had that makes you not to obey instruction, whatever excuses you had that makes you not to attend fellowship when you should attend fellowship, whatever excuses you had, they may be very important, very good excuses. I don't have any problem with them. My only problem is, what is the result? My job, my boss, and all that. That's why I can't come to church every day. Okay, no problem. I can't be coming to church. I can't attend meetings. I can only attend church on Sundays. No problem. I don't have any problem with that. Okay? Keep on serving your boss, but come and show me. I give you 5 years, bring the result. Let me see what that your boss produced out of your life. Let me see what that your business brought out of your life. And that's why I fight in church, because I don't like those who are present and are useless. I don't like people those who can be present in church and are useless. I don't like them because they spoil the testimony of God. Okay? So you come and show me what you have been able to do with your irresponsibility in church, responsibility in the world, and yet claiming membership in church. You are responsible to you are responsible to everything else in life. The only person you are not responsible to is God and those who represent him in your life. You obey your father, your earthly mother. You obey them. You fulfill what they do. Absolutely, you don't want to offend them. You don't want to offend your boss at work. You don't want to offend your friends. You don't want to offend your relatives. So you do everything they want. It is the things that God is asking from you. That's the only thing you are not able to do faithfully. You will obey your uncle. You obey your auntie. You obey everything. Okay, no problem. I don't have any problem. My problem is, why don't you allow Google give yourself over to them? Because your presence in church is useless. I'm not saying you shouldn't be responsible, but your responsibility should be as unto the Lord. That's how to be wise. People who are making demands of your life, what are they able to bring out of your life? They are the reason why you don't have time to study. They are the reason why you cannot be in church when you should be in church. They are the reason why you can't respond to church leadership and instruction as you should. You are serving them. All that any problem. But what have they brought out of your life? You want to serve them, obey them fully, but God, you want to keep on offending, and yet you want to keep on staying around. Can't you see the stupidity of that? Okay, so that when anything fails, you run to God. The God you are abusing is to be your backup. Show me a man who is like that, and I will show you a man who is responsibly faithful. I'm not talking about just present for nothing. Who is responsibly faithful in church, and I can show you the result of his life. I'll show you a man. That fellow came, sat down, started listening. He's focused, he's reasonable, he's responsible, and he's following the way he should follow. And I can tell you, this is where he was, this is where he is now, this is where he's going. I will tell you that. Because I can only predict your realities when I understand their fears. I can predict your realities when I understand the affairs of your spirit. If I do not know the affairs of your spirit, I cannot predict your life. I told somebody earlier today. You see, people live today. You see, you are supposed to live your life. Your actions now, your conduct, your actions are supposed to secure two things for you. Every moment. Everything you do in life is supposed to secure two things for you. Okay? Everything you say, you do, everything should secure divine approval above. Are we hearing that? And well-being ahead. Yeah. Everything you do the first thing your actions should secure is divine approval. Once you have secured divine approval, you will access the future appropriately. But you see, when your actions are wrong, when your activities makes God to take his eyes away from you, you do not only lose divine approval, you also defeat your future. Yeah. You're actually walking today, you're actually walking right now against your future. You're actually defeating, the good things that tomorrow should hold. That's what you are depleting tomorrow of value and of substance. There is a way you live today that your tomorrow is already empty. Yeah. And there is a way you will conduct yourself today, and you are loading up your tomorrow with great things, great results. You are investing into your tomorrow already because you are doing things today that is sending God ahead of time. Whether you are going to be wealthy tomorrow or poor tomorrow, it is already happening now. Somebody say, God didn't write. There are some people that will be in life. Stupid people, when they interpret the Bible from demonic interpretation, he said, Jesus said the poor you will always have. So, are you that poor that they must always have? Can you imagine somebody interpreting that kind of stupidity because he's poor today? Because he's poor today and he's not ready to wake up to the responsibility or functionality to take him out of that stupid level of life. He said, even Jesus said the poor you will always have. So you are one of those poor that they must always have. Order. Abi? Only the poor. Can you imagine that kind of argument? That's high level Satanism. Arguing so that they can stay poor. Imagine that. I say to people, since the poor we must always have, and you chose to be part of those poor, from today I cut off from you. In Jesus' name. But the spirit that works in you is a dangerous spirit. I can't work with people like you and achieve the future that God is sending me to achieve. Say, Jesus said he preached to the poor. Yes. I preach to the poor to make them rich. Any poor man I'm preaching to who wants to remain poor is bad market. I made a mistake meeting him. It was a mistake meeting him. You get the point? Once your theology accommodates poverty, you don't belong to what I'm doing. Better carry your load and run now. My theology abhors poverty because the gospel that I'm given is a God. It's not a prosperity gospel, but it is a prosperity gospel. So you should understand which of the two you want to pick. It's a gospel of the God who raises the poor out of the dunghill and sets him up among princes. That's my own Bible. I don't know where you got your own Bible that is preaching poverty. It's a gospel that says it takes you on a journey in obedience to God's commandments and makes you to go from strength to strength. And then you are in anticipation, you will occupy a land that is flowing with milk and honey. You will build goodly houses and you will dwell in them. You say, that's not your own God. Everybody has got their own faith. This world is very big. Can't you see how many churches are in this house? You don't have to be in this one. Just leave me with the one they sent me with. Yeah? When people want to quarrel with Bishop, they will say, hey, God cannot send somebody with a message of what now? Of wealth. They say liberation mandate. It's only preaching money. I said, no problem. The interesting thing is that I've heard that man, I've listened to that man since 1995, in fact 1991, but more effectively since 1995 when I went to his Bible college. I've not had that man preach money before, sincerely. You won't hear money, preaching or money from Bishop Oyedepo's mouth. His message is wisdom. They say money, 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 money. Because wisdom is working for him, he's wealthy. That's why you think it's money that is preaching. He's not preaching money. He's just working with wisdom. So I said, okay, since you know that you don't want to be a beneficiary of the liberation money, why don't you leave him alone? Leave him with the people that God knows the people he sends people to. So leave him with the people that God sent him to. You don't like his message, you are not one of those God sent him to. Finish. So leave him alone. And go and do for your own business in life. Abi? Can a pastor be flying jet all over the place? Is something wrong with you? No. You are climbing Okada now. Why are you laughing now? Are you not climbing Okada? You are climbing Okada now. You are jumping yellow bus. After some time, as you begin to become big girls, small, you begin to call Uber. Is that not so? And after some time, after you have called Uber, you say, okay, I think it's time for me to have my own car. And then you begin thinking of what to buy. You want to buy one fine, beautiful, nice car with AC that will be passing by. They won't hear the noise. It's only the noise of the AC they will hear. Abi? American hybrid. It's people like that I want to work with. I don't want to work with somebody who wants to ride bicycle to heaven. Think yes now, because he thinks that the poorer you are, the faster you get to heaven. Madness. That's stupidity. Productivity determines what you do. You understand that? So you are complaining that the person is buying, that the person is flying private jet. What's wrong with you? The same way that when you are climbing Okada, jumping from bus to bus is because of your level. Okay? So you want to enter, you want to travel now, you go by airplane. You understand that? So you buy air ticket and all those things. Your buying air ticket is the same thing as buying Moldway. Buying BRT tickets. It's the same thing. Okay? But after some time, join BRT. BRT is good, but you will know that there are things that BRT won't do for you. And you can afford to have your own private car. So what's your problem? So what are they doing with private jet? You don't know what they do with private jet? I'll tell you. When you have private jet, you don't go through the normal lounge that everybody passes through. You have got a VIP lounge that you pass through. You don't get there to queue and wait for your flight time. You walk into your plane and your plane takes off. Shobo ayo. So they can't tell you that, there's flight cancellation or flight is delayed. You understand that? You want to go to 3-4 countries in one day. You can do it without stress. Is that all right? Stop behaving with poverty mentality. A human being like you has given out to ministries, gifts, 27 aircrafts, 27 aeroplanes. The mind much more aircraft. Has given out 27 to different evangelistic ministries in Ecoplan. Has given 27. But I'm not what you feel like. But try there. On trying, you will have given up to maybe 10, 15 shoes so far. A human being like you has given up. How many jets are you going to give up? in your own lifetime. So go you've never thought of that one, but get it. But you know, like I'm only pulling your legs. I'm not asking you to force yourself to that. But if you see, focus on your productivity. It is not that man didn't set out looking for jet to give out. He only started succeeding in the assignment God gave him. Do you get the difference? That's all. He just was succeeding in the assignment God gave him. His success in his assignment is what determined what he could afford. I like that. Observe to do according to what is written in the word. Live by the principles of the kingdom. Obey. Again, and function faithfully. Okay, according to the order of the kingdom. He said, you will make your way and you will have finished. Your success is what determines what you can afford. So look for how to succeed. Nobody is saying you should pursue material things. But be configured for successful living. Does that make sense? Be configured for successful living, productive living. Finish. Well, your productivity, you understand that your success determines what you can afford. Let that be an instruction in your spirit, man. Let that be an instruction in your spirit, man. Productivity. And you can find, and the key to productivity is faithfulness. Faithfulness. Just learn. See stupidity to see light and decide to walk in darkness. When you see somebody succeeding on the road you want to travel, you see somebody doing well on that road, you say you don't want to learn from me, you want to learn from me. You're just a stupid man who has seen a road, you want to enter bush. Simple wisdom. David ran away from Saul, who wanted to kill him, and ran into the wilderness. Abi? Haven't learned the much he had learned, because as at this time he had earned a reputation with God that he was a man after God's heart. He had learned under his father Jesse. He had learned. Are you hearing that? He had learned under his father Jesse. He had learned under all of the leaders that he has had the opportunity to learn under, and he has established. He has leveraged on faith to establish a personal relationship with God, and he has now come to a point where God is his teacher in life. And he had come to that point where he had matured in operating with God functionally and effectively, and he has become so well anointed that he had become victorious in any venture. He's sensitive. When God speaks, he knows. When God leads, he follows. He has matured in the things of the kingdom. He has understood the principles of the kingdom in his own little way, and he's productive with it. He has killed Goliath. And then Saul became jealous, and Saul is pursuing him. And then he ran into the wilderness. And before he knew what was happening, because of the reputation he already had, this is David. This is the killer of the giants. This is that popular warrior. And he showed up in the wilderness where people were scattered. People who had gone out of town. So it was normal for people to say, David, what are you doing here? You get me? He was a champion. And so it was natural for people to say, look, we are disenfranchised. We are failures. We are indebted people. We are nobodies. But you are a champion. You are a successful person. Okay, but the king doesn't want to have you around in town, but we believe that you have what it takes to give us leadership. 600 of them came around him and said, we have come to stay around you because there is something in you we want to learn. There is something about we are failures. We know our failure brought us to where we are, but it is not failure that brought you to where you are. It is success that brought you to where we are. So we believe that your coming into the wilderness is God remembering us. Benny, your coming is God's gift to us to learn how to win and how to live and to win in life. That's where we see it. And so we are dying, David. Whatever you say is what we will do. Wherever you lead is where we will go. They sent you out of town. We have come together. We have made ourselves your army. We want to learn from you. And all they did, David didn't have the Bible, he didn't have any textbook, he didn't have anything. All they did was to watch the life of this guy. Learn from his disciplines. Learn from his attitude. Learn from his wisdom. Learn from his ways. They just imitated him. Nothing more. Just by observing David and learning from his ways and his works, because the way he is the reason God is with him. Get that down. That is a reason God is with him. And the way he is in nature, attitude, mannerism, behavior, he has a disposition to life that made God to stay with him. The way he is the reason God is with him. Are you there? So you should. Wisdom says we want to learn from you. We want to learn to be like you so that God can be with us. Out of those men, disgruntled, ordinarily before, disgruntled, disenfranchised, frustrated, sent out of town. Before you knew what was happening, you began to have disciplined, respectful, respectable Uriah. You remember Uriah was one of them. The men, those men listed in the book of Samuel, 2 Samuel, and Chronicles. Okay, particular chapter I can't remember now. That were called the mighty men of David. Each of them, those who killed the brothers of Goliath, giants that were brothers of Goliath, they were in that. They were one of those. They were part of those who came. They were nobodies, but just by observing David, they developed disciplines, sense of responsibility, maturity in engagement in life, okay, soundness of mind, as David was. And the more they were becoming like David, God also, because that's God. The more they were becoming like him in attitude, in mannerism, in tendency, God was putting oil on them. They were getting anointed. It got to a point in the life of David that those men told him, we can't afford you coming to war anymore. There is nothing you're going to do there is nothing you're going to do at war front that we won't do. We need to preserve the honor and your pedigree. We can't afford to lose you. We have learned from you, but you are still our champion. You are still our inspiration. So please stay at home. We will handle the battles. And they did it very well. Why? Because nobody is better than what he has learned. You understand this? It's a painful waste. You understand that? When unserious people who have got eyes that they won't use, ears they will not use, people who will not learn, are you getting the point? They hang around somebody that has a purpose to fulfill. Yeah. The irresponsible, you should not allow the irresponsible to be joined to you. People have told me before, Daddy, I love you. I said, no, your love is killing me. Your love is, if you are not learning from me, you're not becoming like me, your love is a problem. I'm committed. No, don't be committed to me. Your commitment is a problem. Yeah. I want the commitment of men who are like the men of David. Yeah. Who are satisfied. They are satisfied with what their leader represents. It's enough for them. So there are people who have got their leader, they are joining to one leader, they are looking for other leaders. Those are not worthy of the honor of your presence. Did you get that? If I'm not enough for you, are you getting the point now? This house is too big for you also. And I don't have any problem with that. I'm not forcing you. I'm just saying, leave me in my own. David was in that wilderness. Abi? Yeah. A city, a small village was built around him called Ziklag. Became a mighty city later on. With those people, they formed their own settlement. They set up their own order. They didn't, they didn't have priests. They didn't have prophets. Well, but they had David. Oh yeah, and it was enough. And those men in that wilderness took over. Not just, are you getting the point here? Jerusalem, but the entire Palestine. From those people that formed that small village, that, well, like, in what now? An enclave, yes. Yeah, that doesn't have any reputation, that doesn't have nothing to it. Those people, those men from that place, took over the whole of Palestine. They conquered the territorial integrity of everywhere called Israel of the days of the glory of Israel. And they became the champions in the land. They became the generals in the army. But they started from, they were nobodies. You understand that? But David was enough for them. Did you get that tonight? That's all. What was on their leader, was enough for them. Because all that is on their leader is that's what their leader is going to use to achieve everything they will achieve in life. Yeah. Only those who accept you have got a future with you. You understand that? You don't allow yourself to be plagued with those who shouldn't be in your team. Anyone who can learn from you should not be in your team. Anyone who can learn from you should not be here. Who understands this? Your leader may be a nobody in your eyes, but you cannot impeach. You know that meaning? You know that language? You cannot impeach his results. If you cannot impeach how he has come, you cannot stop how far he can go. Make sense? If you cannot impeach, you can't remove the fact of how far he has come. You are not the one that brought him how far he has come. You didn't bring him that far. So if you cannot impeach how far he has come, you can't stop where he's going. You get the point here? But if he's not careful, you can impede. You understand what I mean? Impediment. If you are one who will be around him and you will not undermine who he is, you will not honor who he is, you will not respect who he is, you will not learn from him, you have others you want to read, go and meet those others. Because who those others are and where they are going, that's what you deserve. Leave this one. There were people who ignored David. An example is Naaman. He says, I say Naaman. What's the name of that guy? Husband of Abigail. Nabal. There are people who said David is a foolish boy and all those. There are people who stayed with who stayed with, what's his name? Saul. There are people who stood with Saul and said, no problem. But those who are with David are the ones who have the future. Hallelujah. Is anybody here? Huh? Strong wisdom here tonight for anybody that's able to pick it. Critical instruction for anyone that's wise. Enough for you? Psalm 24. Now so, I'm picking some issues here. From Psalm 24, establish a matter in Psalm 46, and then pray with an issue in Psalm 47, and that will be for tonight. I hope we can cover everything. If we can, we'll come back here tomorrow. You understand that? All right? And we're talking about the fact that the Lord is what? The Lord is what? Strong and mighty. The Lord is mighty in battle. Are you ready for that? Amen. All right. So, information. So, we are discussing. The scriptures are not for entertainment. All right? They are not network news. Scriptures are instructions from above. So, you want to interact with them. Is that all right? For growth, for development, for establishment, for light, for life. Does that make sense? Amen. Faithful believers rise by wisdom of scriptures. Somebody got that? Faithful one. Faithful believers rise by wisdom of scriptures. I'll say this because it's coming to my spirit since we came this far. Many of you were not here when some of these things were said, but a few people were here. One major reason, we're going to pray against satanic shields. Are you hearing that? We're praying against satanic shields against this house. Is that right? I will explain it to you when we get there. What is the devil trying to prevent? What is the devil trying to stop? Because if you do not understand what's at stake, you will not know how to address your battles. Fight. There was one rhetoric that the devil kept on hammering and has continued to hammer a number of times, especially when he gets angry. And because of that matter, he has called me all sorts of names. Called me wicked, called me thief, called me all sorts of things. You understand that? And he keeps on emphasizing the particular matter. He'll say, his problem with me, and he is accurate, he's on point, 100%. Okay, the devil has a lot of problems with me, but the number one problem the devil has with me is that my goal is to raise giants against him. How many of you have heard that before? Now, we have had it as something Satan is saying. Because it's not something that will come and say. You understand that? Okay, ordinarily speaking. So many have had it as what Satan is saying, and then people fight it and all that. You get the point, but I want you to hear it and understand it as what God is saying and what I am saying to you. My objective in life is to raise mighty men for God. I don't have any other. So my pursuit is not in the crowd. Hope you understand that. In the number gathered. It wasn't the number. Who understands this? It was not the number of men around David that worked for David. They were just 600. And many of them fell off. It was not all the 600 that were faithful to the end. Many of them failed. Who is here? So it was not the number. You get the point here? That counted for David. It was a quality. Unusual men. Unusual men. Extraordinary men. Can you imagine such men? I was having a discussion with somebody on this matter about 2 or 3 weeks ago. Very unusual group of people, class of people. kind of men that David would say, "Oh, I'm thirsty," and they will go and fight through an army. What kind of human beings are that? Fight through an army to go and use keg to get water, and fight through the same army to come back, risking their lives, fighting with the sword to bring water for David to drink. And then you know the kind of man that David himself was. Yeah, he was a man of honor. That there is no price he himself will not pay for true, thorough disciple. You know one of my cries, I've been having that cry since yesterday. We've got 2 or 3 days now, but they were heightened yesterday. I don't want to invest my heart in the unworthy. Yeah. So one of my cries have been, Lord, help me. Help me discern the deserving. Did you get that? Stand up, don't worry, don't. Just receive it, okay? Help me do what? Help me discern. It's not everybody that's deserving of sacrifice. Sometimes I pay some sacrifices and I wonder, what this will put the equation? I'm telling you the truth. Sometimes I do some things, and I say, you might young man, yeah. Sometimes my leaders tell me that. But be careful between being nice and investing in the right people. I said, Lord, I'm trying to. My elder brother will say, I'm sure he won't like me. Well, he says it anyway, so he won't mind. I'm sure he won't mind. He will say, but they don't let your responsibility fund irresponsibility in others. Did you get that? He says that, in fact, I don't know, he's been saying that to me as far back as when I was living at the Pasture. Almost as long as he has been coming to visit me here. On duty for work. I see your high level of responsibility, I see your commitment, I see your devotion, I see your investment, but too many of the people you are investing in are not as faithful as you are doing. Be careful. I'm not saying you shouldn't do so. He loves people, he invests in people, he does that, he's committed to, and he's a champion of investment in people, but he's very sensitive because he has seen a lot with his own pastor. My father-in-law. You know my father-in-law is his own pastor. He has seen a lot. He lived with him. He stayed with him. He knows. So he has seen what people have done to him. And so it's natural that he will be concerned for his... As much as I'm a minister of God around him, I'm also his younger brother. So once in a while, that thing is there. He wants to protect his brother also. And so he sees. We've had times, we've had people say things to him about me that makes him say, when you would have shot it's not as if you came and told me what you said. No. And in some cases, he tells me what you say. In some cases. But not all the time. But that's the point. The matter is, you are so responsible that your responsibility is aiding the irresponsibility of some people. Be careful. It will hurt you. Number one, they will not maximize, they will not step up to their potentials. They will not wake up to their responsibility in life. It will hurt them. And they will hurt you. Strong. And I do. I know. And I tell him, I know what I'm doing. But at the same time, I know that I need help in discernment. Because I have invested a lot in unfaithful in the past. I've invested a lot in people who have turned up to be unworthy in the past. Am I the only one? No, even Jesus. Did Jesus invest in Judas? But that shouldn't define. You shouldn't have too many of such that it now defines your experience because it can wear you out. And that's actually, In fact, himself, Papa and himself, that's what they have always warned against. Be careful so it doesn't wear you out. Unfaithful men wear you out. Papa will always point at this. You should know for you. Papa is saying that a lot. I said, Daddy, I'm but I know. You get the point here? You know why that's an issue for me is because as I'm advancing on this journey, okay, the stakes are getting higher. The quality of investment